Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Why the Hell Not podcast. I have Intoku with me. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
So, tell me a little about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
Uh, so I'm actually from Riverside, and I would say that my family stretches from like Anaheim to Riverside, but I reside in Oceanside right now. Um, I was doing stage production for the longest time, but right now I'm just taking like the time to like focus on myself with like where I want to place my time in like I guess like the dance industry because like I've been DJing within like the clubs around Anaheim and LA for probably like 4 years. But like I was networking between multiple event companies. Some were smaller, some were bigger. But through all of that networking, I've found myself to like realize, especially this past year, that like I've come to know a lot of people that are kind of behind the scenes, like low key homies that are doing stuff big with like bigger companies like Insomniac, but they do like low key events locally, like more like warehouse type of stuff, so underground type of stuff. But um, I'll talk more on that in a moment. But like honestly, right now I would say that I'm like freelance promoter. If you guys need help, hit me up. Um, I kind of I'm kind of like taking a break on DJing because that's what I was doing mainly to network. But I want to take a break because I've kind of been like looking into like artists that have inspired me, especially like Mac Miller. Like I learned a lot from Mac Miller. I've seen a few interviews on him, how he's talking about like the thing with music is like it should be a reflection of yourself. And like I feel like there's an issue with like EDM and stuff, especially local artists that are trying to make it big through DJing, where they're too eager to just jump into something and like hit that big old image of I'm trying to blow up. So um, I just want to take the time to sit back and wait until I fall into like my bubble again because I used to produce a lot in high school, but like my laptop crashed, lost all of that stuff. Like I have none of that anymore. But for sure, I would say that uh, right now it my main focus is probably just hustling, trying to get my money up and make a little bit more friends because it's a big part of who you know and whatnot. That's pretty much how I got to this spot, to be
So,
real honest.
you're taking a break from DJing, but you still want to be involved in the music industry. And it's funny that you said like there's a lot of like that stereotypical local DJ kid who kind of jumps into it, maybe is riding fads, like doesn't really have doesn't isn't really an artist. He kind of just maybe he produces tracks, but he's just looking to fit that niche and doing it for the popularity. And like you said with Mac Miller, you want to be like true to yourself. You want to make stuff that you can listen to forever, that is timeless and be unique. Not you get caught up in this kind of riding the wave, going up and down in the roller coaster, changing, always just trying to break through, get viral, and not be like organic and real, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Cause like people people with that mentality, they go about it in a sense where it's like a race, and they look at it like, oh, I'm gonna get into this starting line and look left and look right, and there's gonna be all these other people in this starting line. But realistically, it's like it's kind of like a race against yourself, but it shouldn't be looked at like a race. Like when I started DJing, it was in like high school, and I'm 26. So when I was in high school DJing, I was doing all kinds of house parties, but like nobody wanted to listen to hard style
Mm-hmm.
or like anything like that at these house parties. I was always playing hip hop. And the other thing about me doing these house parties is I was always sober. So like being at these house parties, everybody's all messed up, all fucked up and shit, and they want to hear hip hop. And then like me in my head, I'm like, I want to be the next Daft Punk, like,
Yeah, and they just want to hear
yeah,
like Drake on repeat,
yeah,
like
and they
every
want to hear
song on
Drake or
repeat.
something, or like, like freaking like Too Short. Like, I came from Menifee, like that's where I was going to high school. Was like Menifee. I went to Ploma Valley, so like what was cool about that area is it's all dirt, private property. So there was like popping ass parties, but like it was all hip hop based. So the way I got into like EDM was first and foremost my mom's sister, so my aunt, when she would babysit me, her and my uncle were actually like old school ravers, and like they'd be blasting happy hardcore and shit in the car when I was like with them and stuff. So that's how I really got into like dance music or techno and like hardstyle and trance, like that's more so what they were playing. And so as I got older, I mean, I've always had an interest in DJing because my dad was a DJ and my uncle would be around it. Like, they used to b-boy and stuff when they were my age. So, like, music was always a thing around me, especially DJing. So, like, when I started dabbling into it, I mean, I had to play the stuff that people wanted to hear at the parties. But I still wanted to figure out where I had to go to, like, find that little thing that I wanted, like that EDM like image of being that DJ up there controlling the crowd. Like that's what I was trying to like look for and find and create, or at least take some sort of like little grasp from. And one day my friend, first of all, this friend, his name's Sean Gray, so shout out to you, Sean. One day I was at his house and he was like, hey, I'm gonna go take a shower real quick. And he had this program up on his computer. And before all this, the only thing I knew of as far as DJ equipment was like turntables and CDJs. And I'm talking like really old CDJs where you actually have to put the CDJ in. There's no USB that you could plug in.
Yeah.
And like I'm sitting at his computer and I see this program called Virtual DJ. So like he's in the shower. By the time he got out of the shower, I already taught myself how to use the program. So he came out of the restroom and he's like, what the fuck? Like, I've been trying to figure this shit out. You've been sitting here for like 5 minutes. You're already doing like way more than what I was able to do. So like, second I got home, I downloaded the program because he told me it's free. And if not, I did some other stuff to get it for free. Okay. And so like, I would start DJing through Virtual DJ, like just using hotkeys and what I had. And
well, it's definitely easier to learn virtual DJ if you know the real thing because all software is just emulating.
oh yeah,
real
dude.
life, you know?
Exactly. Like once I got an idea of what the hell it was, like everything that I was so hands on with is now on this computer screen, and it was like so easy for me to just mess around with. But the reason why I'm mentioning Sean is Sean's older brother. Before he joined the military, he would go to raves, and his buddies would like they would all go to raves and stuff, you know, because his friend, they were like really big with gloving, and they would have like YouTube videos and stuff. But
I went through a gloving phase.
yeah, so did I. Shuffling, gloving, I would do it all. So like being a whole candy kid and everything. So like I wanted fat pants. Like some of my friends had fat pants. Like we would put tape at the bottom of our shoes and go to our buddy's house and we'd shuffle on his fucking carpet. But dude, I used to take like a boombox to high school on the fucking bus and like drop it off in a teacher's classroom, and she would like let me leave it there until lunchtime. And then in the middle of lunch, like me and my friends would be playing music and shuffling in the middle of like the whole quad. But so Sean's older brother Corey took us, like technically I stayed over at his house and told my parents like, hey, like we're just gonna hang out over there. And we ended up like leaving. His brother took us all the way to Riverside and we went to the Hudson for Gotham City. So we went over there and like that was my first like little event that was like close to what a rave would be, because like the next thing I ended up going to was Winter Fresh. And then I was supposed to go to EDC at the Coliseum, but I ended up going to like a family trip to go camping. So whatever, like it was cool.
So
Family's always fun.
So what genre, if you could only listen to like one genre of EDM, what would it be?
I can't.
You can't. You like them all. You're very diverse.
I can't, dude. Like if I had the ability to know every language in the world and understand everything fluently, I would fucking listen to everything. Like no bullshit. I don't even care if it's Amish music.
Well, dude, I'll listen to I like a lot of like reggaeton and I don't know Spanish.
No, yeah,
You
like
can still like vibe to the
I'm
beat.
Mexican. I
And,
don't speak Spanish fluently, but dude, Spanish music has such an amazing rhythm to it. Like Hispanic music, it's fucking beautiful as fuck. Like,
I always am jealous of like because sometimes I'll DJ weddings for money, and I'm based in San Diego for a lot of my like corporate events and weddings. Always fucking jealous. Everyone knows how to dance. They're not like a bunch of white people at a party. They're like twisting their fingers and doing awkward dances. You guys are like paired up, fucking getting down. Everyone knows the routine. Like, and I'm like, damn.
I mean, realistically, I feel like everybody has rhythm. You just can't be shy about it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying they don't have rhythm. I'm just saying like they like do their dances. You have like the Paso de Rodero or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Everyone lines up, does it. Then they have like salsa and all those like specific dances.
All right, so I feel like trends, like people are just following trends, and like as more trends come in, other stuff gets pushed back or just disappears. Like I feel like if we were to also focus on trends and like keep history alive, then we would still have like traditional dancing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like tradition has been lost in America that was once there. And like it doesn't mean that we can't bring it back, like because my great grandparents, they used to go to swing. Like my grandpa and my grandma would get down. Like, so I wish I was taught that, because I think swing is fucking insane. Like,
yeah, I personally love dancing, and like I did a few years of dance school, and the only reason why I said that, mainly not even from the observational point, is like it's you can get like a Latina girl out on the dance floor and she'll dance with you. A white girl, she just wants to rub her butt up against you. She's like, why are you spinning me around? What is happening? Like, that's just my personal experience, and I've always been like, damn, I fucking love that. Like, it's not even like a culture. It's just like they actually dance. They don't just like vibe out, I guess, or grind.
I gotta take you to like a competition or something, bro, because I've met and I've seen some white girls that know how to dance. Like, I don't know what parties you've been to, but I need to take you to some places. Like if you go to a Soul Action show, like there's a ton of people dancing. I honestly feel like if you really want to find it, you'll go out there and you'll look for it. Like that's a big thing that I did. Like so right now I'm working with All You Can Eat. I recently quit Wasted. Before that, I was working with another event company. But before I joined Wasted and before I left the other event company, I probably had like a gap of probably like 7 or 8 months where I was kind of just like going around LA, going around Long Beach, like Orange County. I was trying to see what was out there, like I wanted to see what other things were going on in the city that I didn't know about, because I was always going to EDM shows. And like, because I used to go to Low End Theory on Wednesdays before they shut it down. RIP Low End Theory. But like Low End Theory was like hella experimental, like hip hop and stuff. But it was like live music. Like you never knew what you never knew what you were gonna expect when you go into that spot. And sometimes you didn't even know who was gonna be there, because like they're like celebrities, like as far as like artists go, like Tyler the Creator used to be there a lot. It was a place that Flying Lotus came out of. I've seen Shia LaBeouf there, like
fucking Shia
like
LaBeouf.
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
He is like the most unique fucking person.
Just do it.
4 years. Like, I don't even know how long, but he's just going through a metamorphosis.
He's a beautiful lotus flower, and I appreciate him.
Yeah, shout out Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
But so, are you trying? Do you see yourself getting into maybe hip hop production or rapping? Is that where you're kind of headed towards it right now?
Rapping, not at all. For me, like, I guess my end goal would be to be able to work inside a studio, just in general, and work with the artists in general. That whole image of trying to like get that giant crowd in front of me is cool and all, but After like doing like my whole shopping around and seeing what was out there, I realized that there's so many different tones and like, cause I paint too.
Mm.
I paint, I draw. That was something that was always been with me since I was a kid. And like, I look at music just like I look at like art. Like every different genre is just another color on the palette. So like, it's insane because you could sit like sitting in front of a DAW is like sitting at a canvas. And do you want to start with like a base color as far as like it being red or something, like you literally get to draw out something with sound. That's all it is in my opinion. That's how I'm looking at it. Like I'm just as much as like I've sat and like just painted and figured out how to make colors out of other colors to create something unique. Like I want to do the same thing with music and just create my own palette of colors through sound and just see what I could put out into the world like sonically.
Yeah, that's an interesting analogy because you could almost think of like the brush as like the source.
Yeah, like my
having like a
brush is
good
like my
source or a
my
bad
push
source.
two, like my drum pad, like
Hmm.
yeah, like exactly. Like each piece of equipment you have is just a different type of brush.
A different tool.
Yeah, a different tool.
Yeah.
So that's definitely how I look at audio production. And with me and my art, like I've heard from family members and just like friends and random people that, hey, like you're really good at that, but like that's my hobby. That's something that I use. That's my outlet. So I never really pursued anything with that because like I've even
It was for you. It was,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
personal.
Like I've even been told to like become a tattoo artist because my cousin, he's a tattoo artist. Shout out to Just Ink. So Justin Villalobos.
Dude, you scared me for a second. My tattoo artist is just one. I thought you were about
Oh
to say
really?
that. Yeah.
Nah.
That's so funny.
My cousin, he does a lot of celebrities, like celebrities
Dude,
and
they make so much money.
dude.
It's
Hold on.
crazy.
I kind of don't want to
Like,
like cut out the middle of this, but I do really want to show you guys some of my
no,
cousin's
it's
work.
tattoo artists. They make so much money. They get to meet cool people. They can get on TV shows. It's like a whole different type of celebrity now. Being a tattoo artist and like while you're looking up that phone, that thing on your phone, just to go all the way fucking back to what you said about being in that race. It's almost like if you're going into this thing or into anything, music, art, whatever, and you're looking at it like a race, you're basically in my opinion in it for the wrong intentions. Like you should be doing it because it's what you like to do. You want to make this beautiful piece of work, and yes, you want to get a following and have uh, fans, but in the end, you're doing it because you love this thing that you made and it makes you happy, and you just gotta do it because you want to make something fucking awesome.
Hmm. Well, all right. So I like how you said that it's just something that you should do because it's something that you want to do. Uh, so when I was I used to go by the artist name Afterlife, and what it meant to me was the idea of progressing. So it wasn't like to live in the afterlife. It was more like I'm afterlife. Like I'm
You're
trying to
getting
yeah
after it.
I'm trying to get after what I want and what I think is best for me. But I didn't like the confusion that was there. So when I was shopping around, like trying to figure out like where I wanted to go or like what else was out there, like whatever other flavors were out there that I'm not knowing about that I should be experiencing because other people appreciate it too. Um, I ended up trying to change my name, and what I ended up stumbling across was Intoku. And the reason why I went with Intoku is because when I seen it, I felt like that's it. That's what I'm trying to do. That's who I am. Like when I so basically what Intoku is it's a Japanese term that means ethics. And um like to give a short description of what it is it's the act of doing good for the sole reason of doing good alone. Basically.
That's
Like
fucking awesome.
yeah,
That's
so
really
like
cool.
so when I seen Intoku, like I compared that to a DJ that is doing stuff for the right reason. because I feel like a good DJ is somebody that is solely into it, not because he's trying to like build some hype about himself, not because like he wants a lot of attention or anything like that. Like I feel like a good DJ is a DJ that is solely into it for the music because he is passionate about it. He or she is passionate about it. Like if you're trying to be a DJ, do it because that's what you want, not because you think it's going to get you a lot of attention.
Instagram likes or
like
whatever.
like a big reason why I help people out, like why I'm helping CE Live out, is because the kids that are running it are literally like young adults. Like they just turned 21. Like I'm 26. I've been through the music industry. Like I know who to look out for. I know who you should go and talk to because they would be a good help or be a good collab, and you're not like being looked at negatively because you happen to collab with the wrong people.
Yeah.
So
Word spreads fast. in the
yeah,
music
exactly.
industry. People know stuff.
Like I want to help them grow, and in helping them grow, I'm gonna grow. But the biggest thing that I got out of it was the fact that I made somebody else's day a little bit better. So that's what I used Intoku with, is the comparison of a DJ that is solely doing what he's doing because he appreciates the fact that even though he just played for like an hour, that hour that he played literally helped somebody get away from their everyday life or reality and appreciated just the time that they had right there in that moment. So like my biggest goal is to like capture somebody in a moment to the point where they're so lost into it. Once I'm done with my set, they don't even realize that I was playing that long. Like that's usually what I want. Like I want to get lost in my set to the point where it's over and I don't even realize that time passed. Like that's how passionate I am about it. Is I know that it takes me away from my everyday life and it's my getaway, and I want like my performance to also do the same effect on other people.
Yeah, there's a few reasons why I love DJing. I love the actual art of it, looping, mixing the song, and it's kind of like the whole, everything, all the bullshit that I'm thinking about through the day. When I'm mixing, I'm like in that moment, And then whether there's people or not, if there's one guy listening, you are controlling, the beat for
You're the
people
puppeteer,
of
man.
the
You're the
night,
puppet master.
And it's an amazing feeling. And then thirdly, like getting later into it, is being able to showcase your music. And like the best feeling ever is when you're mixing a song. You don't announce it or anything. It's just you put your song in the mix and you look out and you see everyone jamming to your song, and you're just like, this is fucking
that's a moment that
satisfying.
I haven't that's a moment that I haven't experienced yet. Like I haven't had that moment yet, and that's why I'm hella picky. Because when I start making music, what I put out is going to be the first expression of myself. Like it's going to be the first thing that is a reflection of myself, and I want it to be like, I don't want to be that guy that's just trying to push out tracks left and right. Like,
Yeah, there's definitely two schools of thought on that. I think that your school of thought and the patience and being hypercritical is the best avenue for having a solid brand and being successful and like representing yourself in the best way. But then the other school of thought is like, you are just wanting to get your art out there, maybe a little more, not even necessarily raw, but you just want to show, and you want it out because you like it. There's, but definitely your avenue is the way to go if you're trying to be successful.
I mean, like I said before, like the mentality I have now, it took me a while to get to this place that I'm at mentally, and it's because of the people that I've networked with and like the artists that I've had that moment of 5 minutes to ask a question. I've talked to, the first time I met Moralia, I asked him, I was like, so like, how long have you been at this? And this is the same question that I've asked a few other artists. And what's weird is like, it always comes back to like 4 or 5 years. Like I hear that from a lot of people, that they've been at it for 4 or 5 years, like solid, like no hiccups or anything. Like They've just been on it and been serious about it. And another thing that they'll tell me is like sometimes it could take up to like a year to make a song. And there's people out there, especially when they're just getting into it, thinking that like I can make a track in a couple days. Yeah, you could probably make a track in a couple days, but it's more like a start of a track.
Yeah.
Like you should look at it like that. Like I started a track, took me a couple days. Maybe you should take a like push it to the side, leave the project there, and then go back to it later after you started another track. Like that's another thing that I've learned from people.
Yeah, and then also just you can't I mean, there's some songs that you are attached to, but like you should look at some songs as practice.
Oh yeah,
You
100%.
know? And you don't need to release every single thing you make. You should be taking your time, you know, make 10 songs, the 3 most bangers. Okay, these I'm going to get to maybe past 80%. These are the ones that I'm going to take past and actually put my time and effort and plan on releasing these. And that is like, it's so rare. Like you said, 4 to 5 years. Like if you blow up in under a year, you have to have a strong network. Like you got lucky in a sense.
Or
you
you
know,
had
where
like
you just came out with a bang.
you had like previous experience with like
Exactly.
going to school for like music and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
like I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Like some people have the experience, and then some people are just like learning on their own.
YouTube University.
But it's back to what I said. It's not a race. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's people that there's old heads that are still DJing. Like
Dude, TJR, he made it after like 13 years. I think he got big at like 30.
Swedish Eagle is probably still doing stuff right now.
Yeah.
That dude's really old. Like there's no race. Like it's not a race. Like it can happen at any moment. Like you can make one song just for the heck of it sometimes, and like that might just blow up on its own. Like there's a bunch of singles out there that come and go. Like,
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to be a hit. So it's 2020. It's a new decade. What's your goals? Some achievements you want to hit for this first year of this new fucking era?
I want to at least have like one track done this year, like for sure. Because I've had too many.
What genre would that track be?
For sure it would be house.
Okay. So I'm trying to pin you down. So is house what you DJ normally? Like when you were with Wasted, for instance. What
When I was with Wasted, I was strictly only allowed to play bass house. But I could play trap, I could play hip hop, I could play Spanish music, I could play moombahton, I could play hardstyle, I could play techno. I literally just played my first techno set the other day, and it was freaking ridiculous. Like something what my dad told me is my dad would push the idea of doing like weddings and stuff onto me.
Dude, it's good money.
Yeah, well, like
It's
I
good
never
money.
really tried to pull through with it because it was like I didn't really.
Well, it's just like it's a solid job.
Because I was always doing like I was making good money off of house parties, dude. Like
Yeah.
like
I mean, but you're not are you making $250 an hour for 6 to 9 hours?
I was getting picked up. Like people would pick me up from my house in a minivan and still pay me like
a good amount.
a good amount.
Um, Yeah, I mean, just like being a wedding DJ, that's like if obviously being an EDM DJ and trying to make it.
I mean,
like,
don't
it's
get
an
me wrong.
artist
I
thing,
ended up
you know.
doing
independent.
weddings like on my own. Like I don't think I ever told my dad about it, but like he was right. I did make decent money off of that too. But I mean, to be honest, like I don't know, bro. Like I feel like I feel like if you're a DJ, you should know how to play everything. Like
Absolutely. And
Like-
being a wedding DJ is one of those things that really
no,
helps you.
especially that's what I'm saying.
You know,
like
there's no like, I'm going to stay within these 3 beats per minute.
no,
No.
you can't
No.
do that.
And that and reading the crowd, I mean, there's a lot of tools that you learn from doing these corporate events and wedding things that make you more skilled and comfortable on any board.
Yeah.
For that, I mean, of course, you're always going to get the CDJs at the club, and you're always going to be able to fit into your little the tempo that you want to stay at. But having you gain comfortability, if that's a word. doing those type of events where you'll go from one genre to another genre, spinning out, whatever, slowing the track down.
Well, for sure, like you could do those events. I mean, when you do those events, I feel like that is like a you should look at it as a challenge. Like I'm gonna try this out, but honestly, even before you get to that point, I feel like you should be in your room doing it anyway. Like I feel like you should just be throwing all your music. Like if you download, typically what I'll do is like if I spend a good day of downloading music, I'll throw all of that music into a folder, whether the genres match or not, and then I'll just start playing through everything. Like I won't do it through like BPM. I'll just literally start playing through everything. Another thing that's very important for DJs, well, up and coming DJs, learn how to mix and key. If you don't know how to mix and key, that's something that's really going to help you in that situation too. There's a program called Mixed in Key, which will help you set all of your
Like analyzes your tracks and puts it in the comments section.
So stuff like that is out there. Like it makes it way easy for you to build a set and everything.
It makes it so that you don't have any dissonance when transitioning. If you're quote unquote double dropping something, it's not going to sound funky. Everything's going to sound like the notes between the two songs are in the same key for people that don't really know what we're talking about. So it kind of brings your set to that next level.
Yes, sir. My buddy Dylan put me onto that. Shout out to Ramsey. But yeah, man, I would definitely say if you're a DJ that is trying to learn how to DJ, don't stick yourself to one genre. That's a mistake. Try to dabble into everything. Something that I really like to spin is like lo-fi hip-hop or lo-fi house, lo-fi music in general, experimental hip-hop, experimental beats, soul, jazz.
Yeah, I have a lo-fi producing alias.
What's that?
It's Vladimir, VLADIMRE. And then my like house, I do tech house and kind of like it's like bass tech house, I guess, but it's not like the mainstream bass house. And that's Vlad Lux, so I guess they're kind of they use the same first four words. But, yeah. Shout out myself.
Hell yeah.
Golf claps. Wow. Shouting out yourself on your own.
I don't know how loud this is going to be if I fully clap.
No, you're good. You're good. We're good.
Blow our ears out. That's cool, though.
Yes.
I definitely have to follow you.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to give you a follow after this, too.
Sweet.
I
mean, I have hardly anything. I probably have, like, mixes out. That's the thing that, like, I've been beating myself up because, like, I don't know why I'm not putting more stuff out. That's something that I was going to focus on more this year. Like, so the past 2 years, the thing that's pissed me off at the end of the year is, like, everybody starts blasting out their Spotify stuff.
Like their numbers?
Yeah, and I'm like, I have no numbers. Hey, bro, I need to work on that.
I have like
I could totally be like building Spotify playlists or something for people to check out.
That's another thing like you can talk about is like actually Bleem, he was on episode 1. He got me on to where once you do have a track on Spotify, you try and hit up the people who have successful playlists, like not even like the most successful.
And try to get it in there.
You try and get it in there. You introduce and then like, dude,
See,
I did it and I got picked up by like 3 of them.
I've never tried to utilize Spotify at all, and I feel like it's a big mistake.
Yeah, I was always a SoundCloud guy for like 6 years.
Yeah, that's totally who I am.
Just getting into Spotify like the end half of last year. And that's the way to go right now. And
I'm kind of worried that everybody's just gonna hear me chewing gum, like
you're fine,
like a cow.
It's ADSR or MSR. What is that called? Where they like it's like the girls eating watermelon, and like people go to bed to it. What is that? ASMR? ASMR. That sounds right.
What? Nice.
So what do you do any you said you painted and you draw. Do you have any other like hobbies or anything else besides kind of the music industry?
If anybody has a fast car, I'd love to drive it.
Really? What cars have you owned fast cars?
Not anymore. Not since I was a teenager. I wasn't allowed to anymore. I probably had like 5 speeding tickets by the time I was 19.
Dude, I got kicked off my.
I have no
AAA.
fear in any cars. Like,
what car did you have?
I just had a little DA with a B20 swapped engine in it, like nothing too
Oh,
crazy. So
nice.
it was just a little Honda, like a little rice rocket, but I thought I was fucking speed racer.
Dude, those things
Like
are so fun. I had a
it's cause
2012.
it's cause my dad he owned a motorsports shop when I was a kid,
Mm,
so like I was always around like fully built tune cars,
mhm.
but I never had the chance to actually drive them myself because I was too little at the time.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. If anybody wants to let me drive the race car, I'm down. Like I love cars. Um, yeah. So art. I love art. Music is a passion of mine. I like long walks on the beach, huh, babe? um, what else? Honestly, big thing that I really appreciate is Japan and the Japanese culture. It's a dream of mine to go to Japan.
Same.
Yeah. So, and I actually just met a buddy that, like, I told him, well, shout out Satoru and the Ikigai Artifacts jewelry store in Oceanside. So I probably met him like a year ago, and I recently found out that he's from Japan, and like I told him that like it's a dream of mine to go over there, and he's like, well, whenever you go over there, like that's where my family's from, so like I'll make sure that you're taken care of when you get out there.
That's
And he
fucking
just started
awesome.
showing me all these cool places and stuff, so like I'm even more stoked to go out there now.
Yeah, I fucking am an anime fanatic. I read manga. I'm like rereading Death Note right now.
Dude, Death Note's
and
cool.
and I mean, most of my fast cars. I'm 23. I've had 10 cars. Not like I do not recommend anyone to just buy and sell cars because you will lose money most of the time. But I had a 2012 Mazda Speed 3. I love that. That was my baby. I just sold my 2016 Miata. That breaks my heart. I am such a Mazda fanboy. It's ridiculous.
Miatas are dope.
Dude, I miss that car already, but smart decision because it's a two. I just had no use for it right now. It's just an extra.
It's
fucking
really
car
like a
insurance
one-seater
unit.
because like you're always throwing your shit in the passenger
Oh
seat
yeah,
on
and
those.
anyone a little bigger than me is it's so uncomfortable.
My
the
buddy
whole
had a
ride.
Miata and he like let me use it for like a day. And he has like so much shit in it, like so, like I couldn't really pick up anybody or go anywhere with anybody. It's like a one person car for sure.
But the fucking hood is still big enough to drop a Corvette engine in it.
Yeah,
if
it
you
is.
wanted to. It's fucking crazy. People make those things go karts.
And they are, dude. Those
So if you could have any car, let's like, and don't think of it like, oh, I'd get a Lamborghini and
Nah,
I'd
that's
sell
stupid.
it, and then but like people are like, oh, what's the most expensive one? I'll sell that, and then I'll get 3 of my favorite cars. What if you could have any car because of the look, the performance, whatever it may be? What car would it be?
I would probably want a Mazda RX-7 or a 2005 Subaru STI.
I fucking love RX-7s. It might be for me.
They're a pain in the ass to get your hands on. But
Yeah. It might be for me like a 99 NSX too,
dude, NSXs are sexy.
or like a 2003 Supra.
I just don't like how I feel like it's too much of a like it looks too much like a supercar. I mean, it's supposed to be technically.
Yeah,
but
but it's I don't know. It's a fucking
I
supercar
feel like
with
I
a
don't
Honda
fuck.
badge on
I
it.
feel like I don't fuck with supercars
Oh, okay.
because like you could if you really wanted to, you could get a fucking Skyline, or you can get an R32 or like. I feel like if you got an R32, you have a supercar after some modifications.
But I'm sure if you have a supercar, you might have something like that if you're a car fan.
Oh yeah, I would definitely have
Like
one of those before a supercar.
If you have a supercar, you have enough money to buy a second car.
Yeah.
No one's. I mean, maybe some rappers, some like SoundCloud rappers, like spending all his first like label signing on like a supercar just so that he can get more Instagram likes or whatever. But
I mean,
For
for
the
all
most
we
part.
know, they could be rented. Like,
yeah, dude, my buddy, I had this guy. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was like he's a rapper, and he was like flexing that he bought this like Bentley and was living in this like 3-bedroom house. Turned out he like spent all his money for like a 3-day rental of a Bentley, and just got as many photos as possible and videos.
better get your money's worth.
I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, I was like, okay, whatever for the
Okay.
gram, I guess.
Exactly, man. See, people are too fucking hungry to be fucking clout gods. Like, it's ridiculous.
You should just.
That's
do
what I'm saying.
makes
Don't
you
become
happy.
a DJ because you want clout.
Dude, Do what makes you happy. I mean, if you
Yeah.
want, if what makes you happy is the 15 seconds of fame, then all power to you.
Don't
But
be
in
that
the
guy
end,
that takes
it's
a
gonna
photo in front of like a mixer and none of the cables are plugged into the back. Like,
it's gonna dry up. You know, there's like maybe one out of fucking 300 DJs that lasts more than 10 years. You know, it's a short run, and so you should be doing it for the right reasons. Because if you're doing it for the limelight is gonna get dim eventually.
yeah.
And yeah, just I guess like the fucking message of this podcast is be true to yourself and do what you want, right?
100%. That's how I pretty much live my life.
Intoku, dude, it was such a fucking pleasure to have you, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Real quick, like I said, I am working with Ace All You Can Eat. We do have a show on the 25th of this month, so January 25th. It is going to be from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. at Thunder Studios. Go ahead and follow House Special at eventbrite.com. And it was a pleasure talking to y'all.
You heard
Peace
him,
and
ladies
love.
and gentlemen. This has been the Why the Hell Not podcast. I'm Vlad Lux. This is Intoku. Have a good night.
Peace.